On March 25, 1972, in Washington, D.C., Lawrence Edward Moten entered the world, a soul destined to leave an indelible mark not only on basketball courts, but also on the lives of the many people who would come to know and love him. Nicknamed Poetry in Moten because of his smooth, graceful playing style, he was far more than an athlete. His life reflected resilience, kindness, and devotion, and he carried a rare ability to connect with people through both his talent and his generous spirit. His journey was about far more than wins or statistics. It was about family, love, perseverance, and giving back to those around him. On September 30th, 2025, at the age of 53, his earthly journey came to a close in Washington, D.C. Although his life ended far too soon, the legacy he left behind remains powerful, carried in the memories of those who knew him and in the inspiration he provided to generations of fans and students. His greatness was never confined to championships or records. It was defined by the countless lives he touched. Lawrence's early years in Washington shaped his character and laid the foundation for the man he would become. Raised with the steady love and guidance of his grandmother, Grace Ellison, and his mother, Lorraine Burgess, he grew up learning values of humility, discipline, and compassion. They encouraged both his developing basketball talent and his responsibility toward others. Even as a boy, Lawrence carried himself with calm confidence, never needing to boast, as his game and his warm smile spoke volumes. He attended Archbishop Carroll High School, where his skills on the court began to stand out, and later transferred to New Hampton School in New Hampshire to continue developing both academically and athletically. Teachers, coaches, and peers alike noticed that his confidence came without arrogance. He was respected not just for his play, but for his demeanor and the joy he brought into every room he entered. When he arrived at Syracuse University, he seemed to step into his destiny. Wearing the orange jersey, he became a legend in the making. Over 4 seasons, he not only thrilled fans but also carved his name into the history of Syracuse basketball. Playing guard and forward, he brought a unique mix of control, creativity, and scoring ability. By the end of his collegiate career, he had scored 2,334 points, making him Syracuse's all-time leading scorer. His consistency was astonishing, with 500 or more points in each of his 4 years, something no other Syracuse player had achieved. He also left the Big East Conference as its all-time leading scorer, surpassing names like Chris Mullin, Troy Bell, and Terry Dehere. He averaged nearly 20 points per game across his college career, along with rebounds and assists that reflected his all-around contribution. Numbers alone, however, could not capture what he meant to Syracuse. He played with elegance and composure, leading his teammates through hard-fought contests while maintaining humility and loyalty. At a time when many left college early to pursue professional careers, Lawrence remained true to Syracuse for all 4 years. His loyalty endeared him to fans, who still recall the thrill of watching him play in the Dome. In 1995, his dream of reaching the NBA became reality when the Vancouver Grizzlies drafted him in the 2nd round. For 2 seasons, he wore their jersey with pride before joining the Washington Wizards for the 1997-98 season. His NBA career lasted 3 years, but each game reflected the determination and grace that had carried him since childhood. His love for the sport did not end with the NBA. He went on to play in the Continental Basketball Association, the American Basketball Association, and internationally in Spain and Venezuela. Wherever he played, he shared his passion for the game and inspired others with his dedication. For him, basketball was not only about competing, but also about teaching, traveling, and building bridges with people around the world. His leadership extended far beyond his playing days. He became vice president of player development for the Maryland Nighthawks, helping young players navigate the challenges of professional basketball. In 2014, he took on the role of head coach for the Rochester Razor Sharks, guiding them to their 4th championship in the Premier Basketball League. Later, he devoted himself to mentoring middle school students in central New York, using both the classroom and the gym as places to inspire young lives. For many children, he became not only a coach, but also a mentor and father figure, someone who taught them that success came through discipline, respect, and kindness. His greatest source of joy, however, was always his family. Lawrence shared a lifelong love with his wife, Nolene, whom he met while they were both students at Syracuse. Their relationship blossomed into a partnership filled with trust, encouragement, and shared dreams. Together, they raised 2 daughters who became the center of Lawrence's world. Their eldest, Laurencia, followed a path into sports journalism, becoming a television host and sideline reporter, carrying on her father's connection to the game in her own unique way. Their younger daughter, Leilani, inherited the same strength and compassion that defined her parents. Nolene herself dedicated her career to guiding students as a school counselor, a role that reflected the family's shared commitment to uplifting others. Their home was a place filled with laughter, warmth, and deep love. Those who knew Lawrence often spoke of his humility. Despite his achievements, he never sought the spotlight for himself. He was approachable, willing to share advice, and always eager to give back to his community. He often credited the guidance of his grandmother and mother for shaping his character, saying that the resilience and love they gave him stayed with him throughout his life. At the time of his passing, his net worth was estimated at $2 million, yet financial figures never captured the full measure of his wealth. His true legacy lay in the lives he changed, the fans who admired him, and the young people who carried his lessons forward. His impact will live far longer than numbers in record books or dollar amounts in accounts. On September 30th, 2025, Lawrence passed away at his home in Washington, D.C. The news struck hard for his family, his Syracuse community, and basketball fans everywhere. Though he was only 53, his influence continues to echo. For Syracuse, he will forever be the athlete who defined loyalty and excellence. For his daughters, he remains the loving father who encouraged every dream. For his wife, he will always be her college sweetheart and life partner. And for countless students and fans, he will forever be remembered as a kind, steady presence who proved that greatness is about more than trophies. Lawrence's life reminds us that true success comes from balancing passion with humility, ambition with generosity, and skill with kindness. His story was not only about basketball glory, but about the human spirit, the bonds of family, and the joy of helping others succeed. Though his voice has quieted and his game has ended, his legacy is carried forward by those who loved him and those he inspired. Lawrence Edward Moten's life was like a song, beautiful, powerful, and unforgettable. And even though it ended too soon, its melody will continue to resonate in the hearts of those he touched.